Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now today is Sunday, so you know what that means. We're going around the net with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. So on the docket for today, we have some new credit cards, some from the crypto space, which you know how much I love those, but they do have some decent enough intro offers. We have Chase making some more restrictions to their Inc. lineup, and we have Discover and Capital One making some potential moves to their credit card lineup as well. So of course, if any of that sounds interesting to you, go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, it's always fun to take a look at a new credit card, so we might as well lead off with that. And this comes from, again, Crypto Land. This is over in Gemini, or with Gemini, I should say. They already have a personal credit card, but now they are launching a business credit card. So if you take a look at this, I kind of like it because they call it the Gemini American Business Card. I don't know if that means they're planning on launching other ones in other countries. I would doubt it, as it's really not super lucrative to have, nearly as lucrative as it is over here to do credit cards overseas. Even swipe fees and just our general nature, I would imagine, of using them. But anyways, there you go. Patriotism in full effect. So it's no annual fee. You're getting a flat 1.5 back on all purchases. That does pay out in Bitcoin, I believe. Now, that's not super impressive, but the intro offer is $500 in crypto. Again, I think it is Bitcoin with $6,000 in spend with the first 90 days. And another note here, again, they are saying rewards are deposited into your Gemini account and available to use right away. Interesting note, it is a World Elite MasterCard, and it's open for sole proprietorships first, and then LLCs and all other types later, which you can sign up for early access, but it's available again for sole prop, which is funny because it seems like they know their customer, right? Because most times we are the ones who sign up as sole prop. Is where actual businesses and LLCs, or would be using those documentation. That's generally what banks tend to look for. So I think they know their audience with this one. I don't know how many real businesses are going to go after it. So not much to say here. We'll probably cover it on the second channel, Run on the Bank, for the intro offer perspective. But again, I guess technically I just saved you 8 minutes by telling you about the intro offer. I definitely would consider it for that purposes. I'm still just trying to chill out right now, so I won't, but I do think for $500 in crypto that you can turn into real money, more than worth it. Now, if you don't want a new card and you want more of the same flavor, well then American Express has another way to get a platinum card if you are interested. This time we're looking at the Morgan Stanley Platinum Card. Now the card is exactly the same, so there's no reason to freak out about it. However, the whole Morgan Stanley and E-Trade partnership has now opened up the Morgan Stanley card to E-Trade customers. So you can see here, Platinum Card from American Express exclusively for Morgan Stanley. So Morgan Stanley still getting the naming rights, but rich rewards and value now available for E-Trade from Morgan Stanley Private Bank. Still the same $900 annual fee. The intro offer on this one is 80,000 membership reward points after you spend 8,000 on purchases in the first 6 months, which is terrible because that's one of the few times I don't even know that membership reward points or any intro offer isn't going to take care of the annual fee. You're still short, and that's being generous, assuming a 1 cent per point redemption. I know some of you can do a little bit better than that, some a little bit worse, but it's pretty bad. So you might have an E-Trade account again if you follow Run on the Bank, the second channel. We've covered E-Trade through my Morgan Stanley, a checking account promotional offer and a savings account promotional offer as well. If that one's not out, it will be very shortly, probably this coming week. So maybe get subscribed or just check out profitablecontent.com, our website, if you are interested in any of those. Either way, you should not be interested in this card. The Platinum Card, it falls into the family rules where back in the day you could have all the different flavors. Well, now that is not the case. You get one Platinum, one intro offer, and then you get your pop-up jail usually. So because this intro offer is so weak, would not consider this one in the least bit. I would assume E-Trade is just cheaping out and they just don't want to spend the money on customer acquisition that way. But they probably will trick some folks all the same. Now, someone who did spend the money is now trying to reap the benefits of it is Capital One and Discover. As you know, Capital One had purchased Discover some time ago. And, when it first came out, they were going to leave, I could have sworn they were going to leave everything separate. between the two brands. We had speculated that Capital One likely wanted them, one, just the acquisition of customers, but two, for the payment network. As last week we covered the payment network debate. It was a real possibility, at least a proposal, that cards would have to run on two payment networks. That seemed since have died down. However, in the deep bowels of Reddit, we do have an interesting post about Capital or Discover cards moving over to Capital One. Again, we'll put up the post. We do know that Capital One was moving over some of the debit cards, their debit cards, to the Discover payment network, which just made sense to do it. This time around, though, we have the Discover moving into the Capital One portal. So we take a look at this, aptly named possible Cap One trifecta. So this gentleman here received a letter from Discover and Capital One today that on January 26th, my Discover It cashback card is moving to be managed on the Capital One website. And when I read the fine print, it makes it sound like it is also gaining the Capital One benefits, like the portals they have, but also has a mention of possible being able to transfer cashback rewards to other cards. If it works like the Saver card, then it could turn into miles on the Venture X. He's very excited about that, making a new trifecta. So there you go. I have a Discover card, the 5X card, as many of you do. I have not received this letter. They didn't mail me a letter and be like, hey, we noticed you haven't used your card in a while. I was like, well, after the first year cashback match, it's just another rotating category card, so maybe you should pick better categories and give me a reason to use it. I don't dislike the Discover card, just after the first year cashback match, I just don't really have use for it. So that is interesting. I do think they should go this route, because it would help them out greatly. Now, of course, I did just bash rotating category cards like in the last sentence. However, Capital One has always, as I said, been in this weird predicament of like they have one card that's really good, the Venture X. I'd say the Saver's pretty good too. So two cards, and the Quicksilver that's underpowered. The rest of the lineup is terrible. Discover, same deal. They have the Miles card, but no one really cares. They have the rotating category card, which is I would still say fairly popular. Why not merge them together into one program and give a renewed spark to the Discover card? Again, people might be more inclined to use them the same way the Freedom cards have been probably stale and outdated for a number of years now. However, people will still use them and favor them over, something else. Like if you could get the Amazon card, sure, but maybe I'll buy Amazon gift cards at grocery stores, whatnot. You know the old trick by now. Because they can earn ultimate reward points over maybe a dedicated currency or cash back, and those end up being more valuable. Again, you know how it works. So I would say this would be a fine idea to just bring life to Discover again and help Capital One start to compete a little bit harder. As I've said, and we'll talk about Chase towards the end of this, I think the old guard has really chosen to take a knee. I think Chase has let their cards become a little bit stale and boring and not helpful on purpose. And that's their right to do as like the biggest bank in the country. They don't really need to do anything more, but you do have a fight at the top, in my opinion, for Wells Fargo and Citi. There's no reason why Capital One, with the best or most fairly priced flagship card in the Venture X, at least for the time being, can't throw around its weight and still missing quite a bit of something. A trifecta for sure, especially as Chase has killed their trifecta basically voluntarily, at least to the average person. They still need something at the $95. I know they have the Venture card. You know how much I hate the Venture card. So you got to start somewhere. So this could be it. So if I get a letter, I'll definitely bring this back up. I have not received a letter, so if you have, let us know down below. Again, not one where Discover's just begging you to use the card again, but a letter about them moving over. I don't have any Capital One products at the moment. I've tried, they just don't want to approve me, so which is totally fair. So moving right along as we talk about changing of the guard and credit cards and flagships. Hilton, as we've talked about 2 weeks ago, it was Hilton Diamond Reserve being a new status in their reward tier above Diamond, and that is now officially out. It's on. Well, they have a landing page for it. So we'll take a look at it just to confirm the details. When we looked at it last time, it was more of a leak/rumor. So introducing Diamond Reserve, the ultimate stay experience. You can tell they've got happy people right there in the middle. So that's a wild thing to just sit on the bed in a hotel room, but yeah, as long as they're happy. Debuting this January, Diamond Reserve will unlock unparalleled benefits with 80 nights or 40 stays and $18,000 in spend on annual eligible spend. So what are you getting? Well, they're talking about their best upgrades, confirmable upgrade rewards, priority upgrades, of course, because you're at the top of the list. Guaranteed 4 p.m. late checkout, 120% bonus points, premium club access, and exclusive customer service. So there you go. And that's the gist of what you're going to get for that much in spend. Now, it does change the lower tiers. So if you take a look at it, 2 more happy people, which we like to see. Starting January, enjoy faster access to perks like a daily food beverage credit, yada, yada, yada. So earn gold status in 1 of 3 ways, 25 nights, which is 38% fewer than it used to be. Complete 15 stays, which is 25% fewer, or $6,000 in eligible spend, which was 75,000 base points. Diamond status, which is just, again, most people are just going to get this through credit cards, but hey, it's 50 nights, which is down from 17% less, 25 stays, which is 17% fewer, and 11,500 in spend, which was 120k base points. So there you go. It does not at the time seem like you can get this with a credit card. I don't think that will last. I mean, give it probably a year or 2, and eventually they'll start to think about either setting up the Aspire and other cards so that the spend helps count towards that 18,000 maybe, or they'll just outright come out with another card. This is most likely to solve the problem that we've always said the card companies and issuers create by just selling the status. And now the people who are legitimate customers who are doing, I don't know, tons of likely business spend, I would imagine doing $18,000 a year plus, are annoyed because the timing stuff doesn't mean what it used to mean. Again, we all know that. Many of you are travelers out there and you experience it all the time. So this is probably to answer that call for them. And for right now, it makes more sense to gatekeep it, but also reduce some of the gold and diamond status so maybe people get re-engaged, re-energized. Like maybe I can make a legitimate run to Diamond Reserve. Is there really anything here? I think the guaranteed 4 p.m. late checkout is probably the best one at 100%, 120% bonus points. I mean, sure, but at the point where you're spending $18,000 with them, I imagine you're already putting on a top Hilton card anyways. I don't know what a few more points is going to do at that point, but hey, it's not too bad. We'll have to see what these premium clubs look like, of course. I'm sure someone will do a video. It won't be me, but overall, there you go. I just simply think there's too much money in credit cards and selling credit cards that they will be able to resist making another tier, especially when we've already seen there is plenty of appetite for that. And at that price point with someone spending that much money, that much time in Hilton, again, it's probably business expense, which they're billing back to a company or a client anyways. So there you go. If you're a Hilton faithful, let me know. Now I guess we can see what Marriott responds with, if anything, to this. They do have their ambassador league, which is somewhat similar, but Hilton at least steals the show for the day. Now, one more topic to steal the show, or steal your points, I guess, or your points earning opportunity, I should say. That'd be a better segue. Third time's the charm. Chase Inc. Once again, we talked about the Chase Inc. last week. We've talked about it for quite some time. They've been going through and slowly restricting the ways you can just, churn the system over and over again. So now it looks like there is a pop-up jail for sign-up bonus eligibility. This was posted on the Doctor. As we said, we'll put up the notes for you here. A quick update about your application. It looks like you're not eligible for a bonus for a Chase Inc. Business Cash credit card. This can happen if you currently have this card, which was always a rule until it wasn't. So apparently now it is, or have had it previously. That part's new. Customers who are applying for a Chase Business Card without an annual fee or who have held this card are also ineligible. So that is always that annual fee part that throws me. Chase Business Card without an annual fee. So but they've also, our next story, they did add this to the Inc. Preferred as well. But anyhow, it's actually, this isn't terrible of a story because it doesn't change anything. Last week we talked about them adding in the lifetime language in the terms. That's if you've had it in the past, that's the lifetime language part. Previously, before the 900 started, just being thrown around like Skittles, you couldn't currently have the card. And then they removed that rule for quite some time. And so now it's back. So folks would either just cancel or product change. It made more sense to product change because of referrals, but now because you can't refer people who already have the card, which is mostly who we're referring, it doesn't really make that much of a difference anymore. So I imagine they cancel them. So you're getting pop-up jail. So I would say, I'm saying it's good because at least they're telling you. I always love their wording, a quick note. It looks like, you know for sure. Like, it's just weird the words they use. Now, on to the Ink Preferred. Again, someone noticed this as well. New card member bonus may not be available to you if you have either had this card. We may also consider, if you have ever had this card, try to read correctly, we may also consider factors pertinent to your business in determining your bonus eligibility. So basically, it looks like the Ink Preferred also takes a hit as well for lifetime language. So it's interesting because they've really just going back and forth over the rules. As I've said, we covered these on the second channel quite a bit when the 900s come up, and that was, they used to care. They started out caring if you have the card, then all of a sudden they didn't care anymore, which is weird. Get as many as you want. And then we've gone too far with it. Last week, it seemed like annual fee cards would be fine, and this week they bring it to the annual fee. Of course, they're $95 one. I'd be interested to see if they bring it to the Ink Premier. Ink Premier just really can't be that popular. I've had it before, but maybe that one in the Sapphire business just hasn't been around long enough for this to really matter. It's still in its first year, so I'll see where they draw the line, or if it eventually makes it to the more expensive cards as well. So overall, I do think these rules, again, they're nothing new there, but I do think the interesting part is we see Chase turn on and off the rules, right? And so, they've always been aware of what we're doing. I think there was a time where it benefited them for selling that many cards, and now they're like, hey, this is no longer benefiting us, so let's bring back in the rule. So I think the ink train for now is over. As I say in this game, a lot of things with intro offers and rules come back, and of course, they do leave it open, right? So it's entirely plausible that if you use their business checking offer, which usually at the top end requires like $25,000, $25,000 deposit for so much amount of time, maybe you do end up getting approved, or maybe going in branch does work because you have an active business relation. We don't really know how they're looking at it. I would imagine, that's a cop-out for, hey, legit businesses or people running a lot of spend through them. So there may still be ways through it, but either way, it looks like the ink train, when dudes are getting like one every 30 days, is finally over. At least this way they're warning us about it. I think that's fair play when they at least write down the rules and they at least warn you ahead of time. So there you have it. That is the news for this week. So, of course, if you liked it, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel so you're posting content just like this every single week. And, of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And, of course, every single day over on ProfitableContent.com. We've plugged it a few times, but it's the channel's blog, always linked down below for you. And on the homepage, we're posting news stories just like this. Plenty of bank promotions that are becoming much easier to churn than credit cards. And we do have some credit card offers as well, those who haven't been nerfed, and some referrals and such. So, again, all the profitable stuff you need in one spot. Anyways, guys, that'll do for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you very soon in the next one.